Geezer, you might ask? What good is a two-triangle base if I want to make a larger base, a furnace base, something more secure, if I want to spread out my loot? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the Shuriken, a 2-floor, 12 secure compartment, 2-triangle, modular, large furnace base. Starting out with a 2-triangle base and expanding into a throwing star style or buzzsaw style footprint. We can build up a second layer, and with care, you'll have space for a large furnace inside. Raid cost is spread out, and components are upgradable to sheet metal as we smelt. And every pod has multiple door slots, adding to kind of the uncertainty, disguise, misdirection component that will allow you to really hide your TC in any one of 11 compartments, not including the door, although you could put it there, I guess. And everything can be secured with garage doors, sheet doors, ladder hatches, etc. You can have a secure TC or loot compartment in here, protected by garage doors on the inside. I've put ladder hatches here to facilitate moving around the base, but you can put sheet doors or garage doors if you have the gears for it, and then leave this socket free and just have a jump up or a ladder. You can crawl around, spacebar around, but thumb spaces, depending on your placement, you may find it's very hard to move from compartment to compartment. So I like to have the ability to get to this top space here, have many different paths of travel, but you can also just jump around here. And that's really all there is to it. Any one of these components can hide a TC. Any one of these pods. And, I didn't even remember. I had to go around. So as it's set up, there are more slots for additional garage doors that you could put here and there. But you've got 1,600 frags and 1,900 stone. So under 2,000 stone upkeep and 1,600 metal frags upkeep with, a lot of garage doors and ladder hatches already installed and secure compartments on the bottom tips of every kind of blade, if you will. So without further ado, let's get into the build. Hey guys, it's Geezer back with another build video. Today I want to do another furnace base. So we're going to be working exclusively with triangles, and I want to make kind of a pod-based modular design, really to help protect the loot within and to give just an unusual kind of interesting look, where we can use kind of like a 2-triangle, almost like a zircon style pod base, and then we put those all around the furnace base. So you don't have to put in these middle 6 triangles here. I'm just doing that to show you guys. You can just put the triangles around like this, but you can always put them in. It's obviously costing you extra. We're going to delete these. This is where the furnace is going to go in the middle here. And then we're just going to go around. Sorry, I froze up there for a second. We're going to go around and we're going to place some extra triangles here. And we're going to delete these center 6. Obviously you can just wait until you have a TC down to do that. And now let's just go no clip mode so you guys can kind of see what we have here, okay? So there you go. So that's it. Now we've got 6 pods, each of which could contain the TC. So the first thing we'll do is throw up some walls. You can go ahead and stone all of this. If you do have metal frags already, then you can make these tips, kind of the blade tips, upgraded to metal. All of those right now. It's up to you. I wouldn't just upgrade one to metal, because you're giving away your TC location if that's where your TC is, right? But what I would recommend is when you have this footprint down, you know, you have to make a choice. You can immediately put your TC here and then seal it off. But of course, the downside of that is if someone's watching you build your base, they will know where your TC is. So I would say put a starter base up, put a shack up, and seal your TC in there. And then get your walls up and put your TC in. Or at least like a few, you know, at least give yourself the opportunity to have some like misdirection or like elements of disguise or uncertainty in your base. So if you can bring over your materials from like a shack that you've got set up, a build shack, and then put up these walls, stone these walls, and then put up the frames, and then you can put in this. We can put sheet doors all on the outside here. As we go along. So we could probably do that now. Okay, and this is kind of like the first phase of the base complete. Okay, let's just take this out of my inventory so we can get a good look here. Okay, so this I would say is the first phase of the base. So right now you have to be careful, of course, that you don't have like one roller sticking out like that. Because again, you're giving away your TC location. So be aware of how you orient your rollers, and in addition, you could easily just, you know, start with a sheet door here, okay? Which is not a bad idea. This first phase base essentially has a choice of 5 or 6 starting points for the raiders. And then you also have your loot potentially distributed between them, which is certainly what I would recommend. Put a box at least in each of these compartments. One of them's got your workbench and one of them's got your TC in it. You've distributed your initial loot, and as you smelt, you may have small furnaces and things like that to start, whatever it is. You're just trying to keep some of your loot at least distributed so that you're protecting it as well. You can have slots on the inside for doors and slots on the exterior of the courtyard here or with doors as well. But at this point, we can go ahead and build up a second level, because you can use this as an open air furnace base right now, okay? So you can put your large furnace in here as so, and it will work and it is functional. My only kind of warning with that is it's difficult to get around, okay? So obviously if you're doing this, you're not protecting your large furnace, you're not sealing it in, you're intending to use it when you're online protecting what's smelting, and that's fine. I mean, people put their large furnaces outside sometimes. Like, if you don't have a compound and you want to smelt a lot of stuff, you'll draw people in and they'll climb over, they'll boost over, and then you could just try to kill them. You've got everything sealed away in your pods, so it's not a bad scenario to try to generate some PvP around your base in a relatively safe environment where you kind of control the terrain and can initiate the scenario yourself by turning on your large furnace. So that's just something to think about for the non-Chads out there who want to kind of have perhaps an uneven playing field that favors them a little bit. People will be curious, they'll want to take a look, and it's really easy to get in. That being said, that's not what I'm recommending because of the obvious disadvantages that it has. This initial base, I'll show you the cost all in stone of it. as it is currently set up. As you can see, even right now, I don't know where my TC is. I just put it down right now, so I got to go around looking. The raiders will be in a similar situation. So 1,213 stone and 216 metal frags. As soon as we get our large furnace down, presumably we'll be able to smelt a lot of metal frags, and we'll begin upgrading our base at that point. Right? At this point, we're still relying on our initial saved up build kind of resources. We, farmed a bunch of stone, and now we threw up our initial phase of the base. So here we go. I'm sure there is a way to make kind of a different footprint base and then put roofs on it, but this is a secondary kind of area. It's not a high security area. It's courtyard. So go ahead and just put some grills there. It doesn't matter if people see what's inside. They know it's a furnace base. They can see the smoke. It doesn't matter, really. Fill all these sockets if you want. As much as you want. So we're going to put another row of doors in here right now. Actually, we're not going to do wood doors, guys. Okay. So obviously you could also add some of these doors later on, okay, after you've begun smelting. You really don't need to add everything on the top layer, but eventually you will. And eventually you'll be adding garage doors to places too, just keeping in mind my previous advice and kind of being aware that if you have a small number of garage doors peeking out based on your your roller alignment, that it may give away some information about your base if you care about that. And in this design you do care about that, so just be careful with that. So now we've got a full stone base that is basically done. The rest of it's going to be upgrading. So now we're placing this, place it roughly in the middle. You can cheat, I like to do it so you have more space on one side. So we're going to put this roughly in the middle, but it's not quite in the middle. There's a fair amount of space for alignment here, okay? If you put it right in the middle, you may be able to navigate on the crouch down and jumping around, but maybe not. It's a tight squeeze. Okay, so we've got the furnace in here. We're going to have ladders or ladder hatches. The other thing that we can do is we can put in shelves all over the place, okay? So there's no reason you don't have shelves, so you can have an extra you can have a large box placement around. I wouldn't put the shelves on the lower levels, and we're going to ladder up or use ladder hatches all around wherever we want. The stairs, yeah, I think they need to be that alignment. And yeah, you can just use those to crawl up. Put as many of these as you want in here, or just use ladders or small furnaces, like really whatever you want. Probably a workbench would be okay. And you can jump around here. Some places, a lot of places, you'll be able to kind of squeeze through here, but not everywhere. But you can go around everywhere through the internal compartment. Put garage doors here, or like anything you want to seal off these internal components. That's it, guys. The rest is just you choosing how many things to add. And just be aware that you don't want to give away any information to the potential raider. In terms of upgrading your base, I would upgrade these tips like you'll see in the beginning of the video, including the foundations and this internal ceiling in here. Just upgrade it all to metal, and then do that all the way around. Don't do it and upgrade just one. Okay? So wait until you can do all of them, or at least a bunch of them at once. Otherwise you give away where your TC is. Or they'll know it's a TC or a loot room. Right? It'll be very, very obvious. And that defeats the purpose of the base, of having a modular, self-contained pod array like this, if you're giving away exactly where your important stuff is. Alright, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and hitting notifications if you like what I'm doing here and you don't want to miss any of my content. Thanks again. Have a good wipe.